So my name's Jacob Kelly.
Yeah.
I run a Twitter account called @ADHD Father UK,
Yeah.
and the main reason for that was because when I found out I was going to be a dad, I was like, right, there's loads of information on first-time dads, but I was like, I'm a bit of a niche, but there should be loads of information about first-time dads with ADHD, what sort of tips, and I searched and there was nothing, and I just remember thinking, there should be something. It's not, ADHD is not a very rare amount of people. It's quite big, but there was nothing. And I remember just feeling really sort of ADHD. You can feel quite. I don't know in America, but in England, I think we're so far behind the times with sort of talking about it.
That's why I love the Brits, though.
Yeah, and I think ADHD, I think it can be quite lonely. I don't know in America, but in England it can be quite lonely. So I had ADHD from the age I was diagnosed at 13, and I'm 30 now. And only since doing the Twitter stuff have I spoke to people my own age with ADHD. So I'd never knowingly met an adult or a child with ADHD until the age of about 27.
Okay.
Which shows that's a long time to sort of feel like you're the only one. I know now, there's some areas in England that have got really amazing partnerships and they're doing amazing work. But yeah, it's quite lonely if you feel like you're the only one. And back then there wasn't, now there's Facebook, YouTube, and so you can search and there's some amazing YouTubers. But yeah, and then there's still times that it can be ADHD, especially dyslexia, can be quite lonely. And I think that's a good thing about the social media.
It brings the world together a little bit more.
ADHD is very difficult at times for relationships, school, stuff like that. But ADHD with a baby is just another mix of. And I think
it's funny in America. That's one of the things I've noticed because in America it's much more accepted. There's more information, and when I was got offered this to do help with this research project in Oxford, I jumped on it right away because then I want to bring attention to it around the world, and I thought the best place would be to start in England. Where it's probably known there more than anywhere else in Europe. I don't have ADHD, but I do have dyslexia and ADD. Which can be quite hard sometimes in a relationship, one way or another, because your girlfriend or so will be talking to you, and you'll just be like, "What'd you say?" And it's they get all mad and everything. It's not that I don't like you or that I'm ignoring you. It's just how my brain is wired.
And I was just having a chat with my wife just before this. She had said something, and I was like, she goes, "Did you hear what I said?" And I was like, "No." And luckily, we're in a place where she knows that's because I was concentrating on something else. But I'm very lucky. I have someone who's really embraced the ADHD and the dyslexia and read loads about it. So she understands what my difficulties are, but the actual there are a lot of difficulties with ADHD and dyslexia. Yeah. Loads of pluses, and I think it's just understanding that. And I think with England ADHD, I see both sides because I suppose I'm in a good situation. Basically, my full-time job, I work in mental health, so I get to see it as a service user that uses the service, and obviously as a staff member. So I can see, why there's problems with funding or stuff like that, and how it's commissioned, but also how it feels to be a service user struggling to get, services. And I've noticed, in I've worked in mental health for a long time, there's still difficulties with understanding ADHD, and that's professionals, that's families, And it's just since I've started in this new team I'm working in, I've been very open about my ADHD, which is something I was never open about. And I'm lucky I'm in a team that are quite forward thinking, and they've instead of just going, okay, it's Jacob, he's got ADHD, they want to learn, so what's this and what's that? And we actually work with a lot of people with ADHD, so I get a lot of questions. But I think it's just about opening it and saying ADHD isn't down to bad parents. I've got amazing parents who in their fields are very successful, and just the stereotypical ADHDer or ADDer is not actually what people think that is actually not what it is. We're very successful, we're very motivated, we're very in our little fields, have amazing talents, and yeah, we have weaknesses, but actually it's about identifying it. I think in England that's something that we've seen in documentaries. I got asked about a documentary, and I spoke about my experiences, how I love having ADHD, and it's a positive thing.
What has it been like being a parent, if you will, with ADHD?
Yeah, it's like me and my wife were chatting about this, and I said the main differences are before I'd have medication breaks on the weekend. I wouldn't take my medication, and it'd be nice. That's one thing that's gone because you need to be with it and fully with it, and which my medication I've been on for a long, long time, so it holds me as much as I need it to, and without it means I can't do just basic duties like help around the house. I struggle with that stuff, so medication breaks is a no-no from now on, which is difficult, and if you're someone who's very maybe more against medication, that might be a difficulty. I'm not saying everyone you won't have medication, but for me, it was more trouble than it's worth to have this medication. But I felt it wasn't fair on my partner. Also, I spoke to someone when I just had a baby from Twitter who had a baby, and we were talking about the impulsivities that you have with ADHD. It's okay with most daily routines when you don't have a baby, maybe crossing the road a little bit late, or when you're driving, making impulsive decisions, small ones that aren't risky, but you get away with it. When you have a baby, you're reminded very quickly that I think when we had the newborn baby, I was holding her up like this, and I didn't realise I was at the top of the stairs. I was just thinking, hey, I got the baby. And I think when you've got a mother who's hyper-focused on the safety of the baby...
You're not alone in that department. My fiancée is the same way with her daughter.
Yeah, and it's learning, that it's a great way to learn. I learned very quickly that I needed to... that self-control that we do have. That's really hard with ADHD. I had to quickly learn my tools, understand. That little voice that was very quiet before now needs to be a bit louder. And I think it's one of the main things. I think the difference with ADHD and having a baby compared to just ADHD, a big part that doesn't, with ADHD is sometimes we can be quite selfish. It can seem we're quite selfish.
Yeah.
We're very hyper-focused on our project, and by doing that, you're not speaking to family, or you can be texting and someone's chatting to you and it doesn't seem like you're bothered in the conversation. And I think when you have a baby, that selfishness that maybe you got away with, and you're not doing it because you're actually selfish, it's part of the ADHD. That stuff that maybe was seen as, oh, that's okay. You're responsible for a human being, so you need to quickly, and it is really hard. I run a project that I became very hyper-focused on, and meant I was staying at work longer than probably I should have, and I needed to quickly, constantly think and realise, I need to understand that I have someone else who counts on me now, as well as my wife. I have a child, and it's a great learning tool. It's very difficult, but I think my ADHD with my family is a lot better.
Yeah.
But it my impulsivity would come out at home, and I'd hold it at work, where now it's switched. So now at work I'm very impulsive, which has its good points and bad.
What advice would you give to people, to young adults, and to people who may just be discovering they have ADHD or who are a parent for the first time with it?
Um, but I think, like I said earlier, I said, when I found out there was nothing, what I did. So on my Facebook page, on my Twitter page, I came up with top 10 tips for the first trimester, top 10 tips for the second trimester, and just have a look at that. That one, some of it is helpful. Just things like things you would never think of. So I had to start locking my medication away, even though there's no way she's going to reach it for another 2 years. But I had to start that routine because routines take a long time to get up to.
Yeah.
I think first start when you realise you maybe just new into ADHD, do your research. That's one thing I didn't do at the beginning. And there was good bits of that and bad bits. I just thought, oh, this ADHD, I'm not going to learn much about it, and I really regret that now because it got to the age when I was like 25. I was like, I've been on medication for a long time, and I don't know that much about my meds, my ADHD. And I found out about hyperfocus really late. And I remember as soon as I found out about it, I was like, oh yeah, like that is why I've been like that. Or that's why I picked up 10 hobbies in the last year and I learned magic or I did this. That's why it is. And now I learn about it. I can, when I start getting hyperfocused, if it's something that I know is going to take over my life, I can start putting the brakes on things. So I think if you're new to ADHD, especially as a parent, do your research and don't get overwhelmed with, there's loads of stuff that's pages and pages. If that's too much, I find that too much with ADHD. So maybe watch the videos. There's loads of videos. There's how to ADHD. There's BuzzFeed's do ones, but just start small and basic. But talk to your family. I think the main sort of tip would be do your research. That's enough for you. Talk to your family and let them into this beautiful, amazing world that is ADHD and say there's some amazing stuff about it. It comes with some difficult stuff, but these are the people that, there are people with families with ADHD, there are single people, and I think it's just knowing that. I think for me and my family, meeting people online and talking about it, they understand actually, it opens up, one of my family members didn't really know many people with ADHD. And then I showed my Twitter feed, all these people, this person works for the BBC, this person does this person does that. Oh, okay, this comedian does it. And so bring the family in. I think the main thing is, do your research and talk. And it's a massive thing to challenge people's views on ADHD. But just, if you don't feel comfortable, just start putting things in, like little things. Oh, if someone slags ADHD off or puts, okay, I didn't think that was true. I thought this was true. Just start challenging it in a way that you feel comfortable with, and then when you get to the stage where you want to disclose that you've got ADHD, be confident with it. It takes time.
Jacob, thank you so much for your time, and I really appreciate it.
Have a lovely night.
Yeah, have a good night's sleep.
Cheers. Okay.
Cheers. Thank you. Bye.
Bye.